to Momentum in Real Estate, your guide to success in the dynamic world of real estate. I'm Corey Wolf.
And I'm Kristen James. Whether you're just starting out or a seasoned pro, we're here to help you reach new heights.
Success in real estate comes from learning, growing, and serving others.
Join us as we dive into strategies for lead generation, marketing, market trends, and client relationships.
Get ready to ignite your momentum and achieve your goals in real estate.
Let's dive in and unlock your full potential.
This is Momentum in Real Estate.
Well, meet Tammy Adams, a third-generation realtor at Virgil Adams Real Estate, following the footsteps of her grandfather and father. A Washington native, Tammy's real estate expertise spans from California ranchettes to Thurston County's premier developments, making her a true local with deep community ties. Real estate is not just a family tradition, it's a passion. Specializing in residential, land, waterfront, horse properties, investments, and vacant land, Tammy always looks forward to meeting new clients and creating lasting relationships. When she's not helping clients find their dream homes, she enjoys snowboarding, riding horses, and soaking in the beauty of the Pacific Northwest. Welcome to the podcast, Tammy.
Thank you for having me.
Tammy, we are so excited to get to know you a little bit more. So tell our listeners what your real estate story is in your own words.
Well, gosh, obviously, it's family-owned business, so I grew up in this office in diapers. One of my first jobs was in high school, being the weekend receptionist and being left a list of things to do. Shoot, my video. And back then, still using a typewriter, Rolodex to keep track of all the clients for everyone in our office, because we've always done a lot of work to help our brokers get ahead. And so, 16 years old, all the way until I took off to college, working here on the weekends. Grandpa drug us all over the place when he was developing. It was very normal for us to be on listing presentations. So I just was completely engulfed in it and didn't realize how much free education I was getting. It was just life. Like, that was normal. It was normal to go on vacation and you had to call the office and check your voicemail and call clients back before you could go to the swimming pool. Now it's much easier. So and then I moved to California. I forget which year that was. I'd always wanted to be licensed in real estate, but my dad wanted me to kind of wait because, of course, it's a little bit of a crazy lifestyle because you're always on the go. And so I had a couple jobs before then, got to California. I called my dad and I'm like, I'm doing it. Like, I've waited too long. I want my license. So I actually got licensed out of state, not knowing anybody, had to create my own network, met an amazing couple, Joe and Jim Cates, that Jim Cates is about the same age as my father. So they totally took me under their wing and we created an amazing team together in Oakdale, California. And I just hit the ground running, volunteered at every single event I could. And then in 2010, I moved back to Washington and stepped into the family office.
That's incredible. Wow, what a journey. And I love that you didn't just assume that this would be where you'd land. You did test some other, work and experiences. So I love that. It kind of validates your experience even more. So how long, I lost track of the math. How long have you been licensed?
In Washington, about 14 years, because I came back in 2010. And then when I was in California, I did work in a real estate office just to get my feet wet, get to know the area, do my own little research, see where I wanted to work. And I think I unlicensed, was just a happy helper pretty much for a year, and then was licensed in California for 3 years in the worst real estate market you could imagine when we got hit so hard. And we were in one of the worst hit areas, somewhat near Stockton. So you talk about a market that wasn't doing anything. I got a really tough shot at starting in real estate.
Wow. Well, yeah, I'm sure that has just kind of ignited your career.
I had no idea what it was like to be able to close something in 30 days because we were doing so many short sales. It took 6 months to a year.
Did you say you were a happy helper? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
I love that.
I have nicknames for everything.
Some of us are just hungry helpers.
I was a happy helper. I was very excited to learn from two of the best people in the area. So I was a happy helper.
Well, I'm sure that attitude and just that spirit has really served you very well in your career.
Can
you give us Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously translates into your work with clients as well. Can you give us sort of a just high level overview of your business? Like just production, whether it was last year or, how it's going this year.
I feel extremely lucky that I am busy and still continuing to do well because this market is very interesting to navigate right now. And I do feel bad for a lot of the brokers that are just getting going because, oh my gosh, it's so hard to break through that threshold. And when you become so networked in a community and you get to know people, they just come to you as a resource. So it takes a while to get to that point when you're new. So again, I feel extremely blessed right now that my phone is continuing to ring. I am staying busy. Sometimes can't see straight because you're running in so many circles, but it's amazing. And we live in such a beautiful area here too. You get to see so many different types of properties in one day. You might be out on saltwater, end up on a riverfront, and then in just beautiful view communities too.
Yeah, I have a great appreciation for the Pacific Northwest. I love it. Corey and I are in the Asheville, North Carolina market. So we're in the western part of the state where the mountains are, the Blue Ridge Mountains. So we absolutely love it here. It's gorgeous. And yeah, can't believe we get to live here. But yeah, so we're both in really great markets.
Nice. I know, and I always keep a spare change of clothes in my car just in case whatever appointment I'm at is close to the barn and I can run out and ride my horse real quick.
Oh, I love that. Oh, that's so great. Hey, so what unique challenges and opportunities have you encountered as a third generation real estate agent?
Everybody makes the assumption things have been handed to me, and they have very much so not. My father, which I very much so respect this, was very careful with having me come into the office because we have a lot of amazing full-time brokers that are producers. And I know there was a little bit of uneasiness with me coming home. They were assuming I was going to get all the leads. Of course, being the owner's daughter, I wasn't going to have to work as hard. And my dad did not hand me a single lead for probably the first 5 years I came home. And he's like, I'm going to be tough on you. You got to earn this. And they need to know that they can respect you. And I was like, I understand. So my first couple years here, yeah, it was tough because in Washington, right after I dealt with everything in California, I moved here and Washington got hit like California did. So I had to start all over in a slower market here. And I luckily brought my short sale experience with me because I kind of specialize in California. So I got here and the whole office just turned over short sales to me. So I became the go-to, which I don't know if I was excited to, but hey, you got to make it happen, right?
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible experience. Can you unpack that a little bit more? Like, what were some of the key lessons that you learned working with bank-owned homes and short sales? Just some of the highlights or lowlights from that experience.
A lot of patience, apologizing to buyers, brokers a lot because everybody understands it's a short sale and it's going to take time. But once you've done an inspection and you're in it and the buyer's falling in love with this home, and then I can't make things happen in a timely manner on the listing side because I'm at the mercy of the bank, you just, oh my gosh, apologizing all the time. I'm actually working really hard because I'd call those banks a minimum of twice a week and just harass them to try and just give me some sort of an answer. Where are you at in your process? And my gosh, it seems like you'd almost get to the finish line and then they'd sell out a bunch of their homes to another bank and you'd have to start all over again. So seriously, patience. And then you have to apologize to the other side and see if they're willing to stick around. So you really had to communicate a lot to try to keep those deals together and again, apologize and explain it was going to be a patience situation. But yes, I learned to be very efficient, very good with my records because you had to just watch every single step of the way, make sure you remembered what person you spoke to, who said what, different numbers they assigned to different cases or whatever. But yeah, it was a wild ride trying to get short sales to go through. And it seemed like being here in Washington, we didn't have as many because we're in a capital city. So we do have a lot more people with more of a guaranteed solid income and career. So it wasn't as bad as California, but yeah, things just were a lot slower here with short sales than they were in California. I feel like we turned it into, unfortunately, a fine tooth comb down there, and here it was just like almost educating the banks.
So did it seem like you had more foreclosures then instead of short sales in Washington?
They're pretty similar.
Okay.
I was gonna say, because we have a lot of military here too, and those, I felt bad for those guys because, you know, they of course get to have these phenomenal loans and use their VA benefits, and then they get shipped out somewhere and you're trying to sell these houses that they only had for a year or two and the market shifted. So you're also trying to save their VA benefits too. So you don't want them to get to a foreclosure process because then they lose those benefits for the future. So work so hard on short sales to save them too. And then half the time they were overseas. So yeah, that was another learning process. The time change, them being overseas. And a lot of those guys needed to have notaries here because you had to have live signatures. Banks back then weren't taking e-signatures. It was crazy.
Wow. Yeah, a whole different set of hurdles for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
So, to what extent does your business today still involve, bank-owned properties? I mean, obviously that's really market driven,
Yeah.
in terms of the economy and what's happening. So I realize that's a factor kind of outside of our control, but
Yeah.
is it a pretty small part of your business now?
Very, very minuscule part of the business. We don't have a lot of that going on at all right now. It's pretty rare. And I feel like everybody learned so much with the last downturn too, hoping that we don't have that anytime soon. But
Mhm.
I think there's a lot more protections in place as well. We have one gal in our office that works direct with banks, and she really hardly has anything going on. It's just not happening right now. Thank
Yeah.
God.
Yeah,
It's not a good situation for anyone.
for sure. But great experience that you have in
Yes.
your arsenal, in your background that you
Yeah.
can draw on if the market turns or you run into those situations from time
And
to
again,
time.
being along, because we've been in business, 53 or 54 years now in this community, and a couple of our long-term older banks as well reach out to our office direct just because we have such an established relationship. So a lot of times we're able to save their people from going into foreclosure, and we can work things out. And you can call it a short sale, but sometimes these really nice local banks is harsh to deal with. They cut more grace because they're holding their own portfolio.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that is so neat, Tammy. I kind of have goosebumps. That's really cool. And just a neat thing to say, like a testimony, I should say, for how relationships and consistency and like being that person can go so far. 53
Yes.
years far.
Yes.
I'm
I'm very grateful for all our relationships we have.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that's fantastic. So you seem like an absolute wealth of knowledge. So can you help give us, like, what advice would you give a woman just entering this real estate agent world?
Oh boy. So I feel like I've had to do that twice, once in California, then switching gears here again too. You need to have money saved up. It's really hard without throwing anyone under the bus. A lot of times when you get interviewed by these larger companies, they love to tell you you're instantly going to be a millionaire. Real estate's so easy, blah, blah, blah. We're realists. So when we interview someone that's brand new, we're like, it's going to be tough. You're starting your own business. You need to have a minimum of 6 months of some sort of income set aside because it's not going to be easy. You have marketing materials, you have your licensing fees, your MLS fees. Most people don't realize how many fees we pay out, your E&O insurance, your own health insurance. So just make sure you have a little bit of a nest egg set up and then go network. The best thing you can do is go meet people. And when I was first trying to get going in California, I knew nobody. I volunteered at every single fundraiser you could possibly imagine. And of course, most of those are like Rotary, or like where I lived, they had a cowboy museum. A lot of the older members don't want to volunteer as much. They just want to write a check. So when you're younger, new, and excited, they love nothing more than a volunteer to walk through the door. And that was me. If I missed a function, something was wrong. I was there checking people in, cleaning tables, doing whatever. And eventually I just built up such an amazing network and knew everybody in town. So that networking is huge. Don't spend too much time on social media and thinking you're going to capture people that way. You have to have such a niche for that to work. It is all about people, relationships. And I can't tell you how many of my clients have become like family to me, and we still socialize and check in with each other years later. And that makes my heart so happy. I love to pass someone on a sidewalk and they're excited to see you versus, oh God, there she is. So yeah, just networking and keeping those strong relationships, and check in with your clients too. Like a year later, hey, how's it going? I think I remembered you needed a new roof. Do you need a couple referrals?
That's amazing. Yeah, Corey and I both have very strong businesses within our sphere and our personal network. And so same, like we love working with people that we already know and have a relationship with. But then of course you bring new people into the fold, but they do become friends and part of your life and your world. And so we love to do events and things that just keep us in front of our past clients and just our community at large. So I love that thread. I want to kind of dial back to the whole family aspect of the business. Like certainly observing your grandfather and your father in the business, well, you learned a ton by osmosis, just being in that environment. But what are some specific things that you can point to that you either saw that modeled in your dad and grandfather that you have now incorporated into your business?
They were both, or are, dad's still here, extremely hard workers. And my grandfather he came from nothing and created what he had. And he always wanted to make sure no one was treated any differently. And I think he made a statement to my father once when he was younger that if you ever think you are better than the person cleaning the floor, then you're no son of mine. So we witnessed my grandpa. No one got treated different. Didn't matter who or what you were. Every Friday when he was doing a development, he'd go out to the development that he was at and sit down with the crew, have a beer, have a conversation. What were the pros and cons? Is there anything I can do different? So we grew up watching grandpa just be incredibly involved in all aspects of everything. Everyone was treated the same. Everyone had an integral part of his success, and he wanted them to know how important they were. And my father's the same way. And I don't care if you're 50 years old and learning how to tie your shoe right now, my dad's going to be your biggest cheerleader. So I grew up with two very positive people that love helping build people up. And our office, we are way more like a family than any other real estate office in town. We all help each other. People always ask, do you have teams? We are a team. If one of our brokers is having a bad day, a family member passed, they need to go on vacation, we all just step in and help each other. So it's the atmosphere. It's really cool. The atmosphere has always stayed like that in our office. It is very much so a family feeling in here. And having grandpa and dad lead the way with that is contagious, I feel like, with everyone.
Oh my gosh, my heart. I feel like there's so many takeaways in that. That is just the sweetest thing ever.
Well, and our tagline is our integrity is your security, because that's what my grandpa always said. All you have is your integrity. So don't forget that.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's so good. And what a testament to how much relationships mean to you guys and how important that is to continue to grow your business.
Yeah.
So I'm curious a little bit more about you, Miss Tammy, on like what your future goals are, what your aspirations are in this real estate industry, like what your hopes and dreams are.
I will probably be taking over the business this year. So I will formally be third generation, first female owner. My dad and I joke around all the time. He, of course, wants to retire, but not, because again, it's such a social atmosphere. So I told dad that I still expect him to be in the office at least 4 days a week, because he's kind of our mascot. And shoot, we have so many people that just walk through the door on a daily basis just to tell stories, and because our office has always been in the same location, and sometimes it turns into business. But yeah, no, this year I'll be filling some pretty big boots and excited and nervous and all the things that go along with it. And I would love to be able to get to the point like my father, where I'm a non-competing broker. A handful of years ago, gosh, like 15 plus years ago, my dad decided he'd done just fine in life, and all he wanted to do was support his brokers and be non-competing and just support them in their successes. And I would very much so love to be able to do the same.
That's incredible. And yeah, what a great goal and a great model that you've had to emulate. What kind of, I don't know, resources or tools do you draw on kind of outside of your family's business? Are there some things that you take advantage of to continue to grow your skill set and your mindset, whether that's coaching or, just resources kind of outside of the family?
Yeah. I don't pay for any coaching. I do have ADD and I don't sleep well. So late at night, I'm always researching a lot of stuff, and I will search out top producers in different states and see what they're doing and listening to their podcasts, watching their videos. And then I still have a handful of friends back in California that do real estate too. So we compare notes quite a bit. I have a couple girlfriends in Montana that do real estate. That's a completely different market, but it's just nice to learn from each other. And again, I just do a lot of my own research and follow different people that I see as successful and try to take a little bit of what they're doing and bring it into my own business. And then we have an awesome guy that we use for most of our marketing, and he doesn't just do real estate. He works across the board for multiple companies. So I'm always asking him, what do you see other businesses doing that we can try to integrate in with our businesses and do something different? So we have those meetings, a minimum of once a month with him. So that's always nice as well. Yeah, I'll follow some blogs and I'll see some ladies that might be selling candles they take to farmers markets. And I'm like, but they're making really cool video content and doing this, this, and this. What can we take from that and use it in real estate?
That's brilliant. And that's something I've never ever thought to do. I always am just trying to find other real estate agents to follow and do. I do the same as you, but I love that, like, successful. Well, I guess that's not true. I have a physical therapist friend that I've been following, and she's been doing so good with entrepreneurship and marketing. But that's so smart. Like, what a good takeaway for everybody listening, to follow people that are just killing it.
Yeah.
I think about, this is so funny. You know how you like talk about deodorant or something, and then all of a sudden like ads pop up on your Instagram or Facebook and you start clicking. Like, those are the people that we should be looking at to see how they. Yeah, that's so cool.
It's fun to get to learn about and I'm truly intrigued by people. I love getting to know people and their backgrounds. So it's fun just to learn how they're doing their business. Like, we have another good friend we travel with that's in the logging industry, and he'll take us to conventions with him sometimes. And he's like, you guys don't have to come to our meetings. And I'm like, I truly love hearing and learning about the trains and the planes and everything that you guys are using to do everything. Like, everybody has something to learn from. And I love sitting back, listening. And then if I'm allowed to ask questions, ask questions.
Yeah. Oh, that's so cool.
Well, I feel like, again, that is just an asset to not just your business, but to life, to just be curious, to maintain a curious posture about other people, about other industries. And I think, we really resonate with that because we love to learn too. And I never want to stop learning.
No.
And so I feel like that's only going to strengthen our skills and our ability to serve and just care for people in this industry. I'm really curious, Tammy. I love your whole like ethos in terms of how you approach life. And I can tell that you're just a really like competent and successful agent. I wonder how you would, for the sake of our audience, how would you define success? What does that mean and look like for you?
Success to me is just finding you're happy. It doesn't have to be about money. Like, just my heart being happy and feeling like I'm doing the right thing by my clients, my people, my family, everyone that's around me. Yeah. Don't get so caught up in making money. Make sure it's about your clients. That is the biggest thing. Don't ever get so caught up in anything about you. It's not about you. It's about them. So success to me is seeing my clients smile when they walk through their home, or, my gosh, I don't know how many clients have cried to me because family members passed, their significant others. You get to be their strength sometimes too. Shoot, I've had clients die in the middle of transactions and I've cried for them. But success to me is being able to I've taken care of my clients and they just don't need to stress out about anything. I just want it to be as smooth as possible. help them relax, help them get rid of the stress when it's the loss of someone or a horrible life situation. So yeah, happy heart. Don't get caught up in the financial part of it. There's a lot of people out there that push you in classes and just tell you it's about money, 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 and it's not. It's about your clients for sure.
Well said. Oh, I have goosebumps. Kristen and I recently went to a cruise conference, which was so fun. But
Nice.
one of the gentlemen that stood up there and spoke to us, he was like, I want my dollar to be worthless. And kind of to what you just said, he was like, go to a car dealership about to buy a car, and someone's like, no, you can't buy this. Or at the gas station, no, like, you've meant so much to me. And that one phrase from that conference has really changed the way that I think and walk through life. It's cool how that happens. And I love that's exactly what you're striving for. And I'm sure you're doing it well.
Everything,
I love that.
when you're happy and you're comfortable in what you're doing, everything just comes to you. And it takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. Shoot,
Right.
I was one of those young agents that was expecting things right away, and boy, did it not happen. But it just naturally fell into place. Just be you.
Yeah. And certainly that principle of if you serve people well, you treat people well, and do it out of a genuine, authentic spirit, like the money will follow. It will come. Your business will grow. But to have your priorities in the right order is so, so important. And it sounds like that's certainly the case for you. And I know that we would love, I'm speaking for you, Corey, but I know that we'd love to be part of your network and your world. So I hope that we can continue a relationship and somehow find a way to be in business together, even across the country and the miles.
We got people moving all the time.
That's right. That's right. But there's so much we can continue to learn from each other. And so I hope that this is the beginning of a longer term relationship for us.
Fabulous. And something else to the new agents too, real quick, find an office where you're comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't get caught up in the sales pitch. Just get to know the people, see who they are. You need your office to be your home and your support. And I, again, feel incredibly lucky because we've got second generation brokers within our own office, and just the support you get from the experienced agents to help you with your success is amazing. It's something, when it's too competitive of an atmosphere, you miss out on so many amazing things from that. Because I remember when I first came home, I was scared to death because I wasn't making money. And I went immediately to our top producer and I'm like, Spence, I want to be your assistant. And he goes, no. And I go, what do you mean? Because he's second generation with us. And he goes, kid, you're going to be fine. You've got it. He goes, you just need to learn to be patient. He goes, you're going to get so busy, you won't be able to be my assistant. Just slow down, take a deep breath, and come at me with questions. And I was like, okay. And not only did I ask him real estate questions, but I was like, so what are you doing for your retirement? How much are you taking from each transaction? How many rentals do you own? Like, what are you doing to set yourself up for the end so that I can start training my mind to do that too?
Wow. So good. Tammy, we really, really appreciate your time. And thank you for just pouring into all of our lovely listeners and us. Thank you for being here.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity. I love it.
Awesome.
Thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Momentum in Real Estate. We hope you found valuable insights and strategies to propel your real estate journey forward.
If you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us continue to deliver content that resonates with you. Remember, success in real estate is about continuous learning, growth, and serving others. Keep that momentum going and watch your business thrive.
Until next time, keep pushing forward and bringing your real estate dreams to life.
This is Corey Wall
and Kristen James signing off from Momentum in Real Estate.